Hello, welcome to This Is Me Speak Your Truth podcast. I am Tracy, I'm your host, and I have the privilege of interviewing. I'm going to see it, you just told me, and I'm going to say it wrong. Esve? Esve? No, Esve. See, I said it.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, see, I'm like, I still messed it up. Oh, see, I'm so bad. Bad with names. And like, where does like that name come from? Like, background is that?
Yeah, so I just wanted to say that's the trick of having international guests, right?
Yeah.
So I'm originally Lithuanian, and that's a Lithuanian name. It
Okay.
has a very interesting root, though. It's the meaning is go and rule.
Oh, I love
I
that.
got like yeah, I got like a pretty strong name to come into this world from my parents. Really
Yeah, that's very powerful. I love it. Ah, so good. And then where are you living now, or where, like, were you when you left from there to where you are?
So currently I'm in Mexico City, but I have been changing a couple of places. I've lived in Egypt and Spain and Gibraltar, Norway. So to me, it doesn't feel like I travel a lot, but apparently when I say that, I realize that, okay, I have been in a few different corners of the world, so to say.
Okay. And how long ago did you move to Mexico City?
So it's gonna be very, very soon, 100 days. So it's still
Oh,
very fresh.
okay. And how are you like liking it? Like, what have you noticed, like culturally, or what do you like about it?
It's amazing, I have noticed what really surprised me. There were like a couple of things. One was that people here did really believe in what in Europe or maybe in US we would call like a woo-woo stuff. For them, it's just like rooted in their culture. They do the ceremonies and everything. The rhythm here is different. People appreciate working hard, but it's similar like in Spain where they like, okay, it doesn't matter how much I need to do, I still value and appreciate my life and I'm gonna make time to eat dinner with my family and so on. And I find that very beautiful in this like the world where we're like really aspiring and encouraging the hustle environment. So I think these two things were very like beautiful and nurturing to my soul to find here.
Yeah, and like you said, like it's crazy how society now has just been like so much hustle, but like you're saying, like they still prioritize slowing down and making those
Yeah.
priorities of connection, which I think we've lost so much connection over the years.
Yeah, because the city is like Mexico City is super fast paced. So you can find everything here. And people are like always rushing and going, but they still enjoy their life. And I think that's beautiful about it.
Oh, I love that. That's incredible. And then is there anywhere else that you've lived that's been like super memorable for you or that you would go back and live again that you've been to?
Good question. Great question. I love Barcelona. I've spent last 2 years living there. I have formed also really like good circle of people there who are also interested in spirituality practices, like growing. This is one of like I think the most important things for me, find people to grow with together because it's I think right? There's a certain amount that like you do your inner work and you're like, okay, it's interesting, I'm growing, I'm doing. But then like when I have like a circle to connect, I feel like that's where I actually like amplify. And like we know each other from like inner circles and the community. So I
Yeah.
think you can relate to that concept as well.
Yeah, I think in the world of like, yeah, having your own business or working towards something more than what kind of like society just has with like lots of people just being comfortable and there's nothing wrong with that. But to, yeah, like
Yeah.
you're saying, grow and evolve. And then you're like, you're doing all these things and you're like, okay, I love this. But then you're like, I'm kind of lonely. Or are there other people out there that are striving towards things that you have that connection or similarities of kind of working together and growing and being stronger together?
I have a question for you, Tracy,
Yes.
because I wonder if you're going to resonate, but I
Okay.
do feel that having your own business is kind of like the best spiritual process that we can go in this lifetime because they will like show you things that maybe in other areas of life it would never come out. But here you're like, okay, I'm going to be seen. So all parts of me are going to be seen. And I feel like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, something that I haven't seen before. It's like, oh, right in front of my face now.
Yeah, you're just like so vulnerable, or like you think you have this one identity and you're going in one direction, and
Mhm.
then someone will say something, and I'm like, oh, I need to listen to what, like, why is that person telling me that? And it's like and then you start going a different direction. You're like questioning all these things about yourself because you only knew like yourself one way. And then,
Mhm.
yeah, all these other people bring out all these other like qualities and skills and pieces that you didn't even realize you had in yourself until you start extracting that again, I think.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, let's see. So you're saying you're an entrepreneur, like kind of maybe give people and listeners like background or history, like how did you like
Of course.
growing up or kind of share some of your past, I guess, so we can get to know you a bit more.
Yeah, so actually, like, recently what came up, talking about the business and spirituality, since I moved to Mexico, something that I learned here was very interesting for me. I don't know how much you are like into spirituality and all of
Yeah.
that side, but I used to have panic attacks more than a decade ago. And it was like a very humbling period of my life because I could not function in society. Like I would wake up and have a panic attack, and I was like, okay, how do you even like go through my life? And since I moved here, I had like a sensation of that. I fainted and I was like, what's going on? Like in the middle of nowhere. So I had a session with like a person who does energy work, and I tapped into my past from 10 years ago when I actually had some abusive relationship. And I realized that was my stepping point because it caused me the panic attacks. And that's when I started going to the mindset work.
Hmm.
In the beginning, I thought that everything is in my mind and I wanted to do free diving. So I was like, okay, I need to kind of like quote unquote fix these panic attacks. And then because, I cannot like go dive deep and perform with this. So I really, really concentrated on that. And at some point, I realized that's where a lot of us stopped because I imagined this also like, okay, if I work with my mind, everything changes. And then I realized that all of like the stress, the like emotional burdens, they get trapped in my body. And that's where like I unlocked the second part of my journey. I was like, oh, okay, so it's actually my body telling me the wisdom, and I need to release all of that from my body, not only work with my mind. So I started merging those two, and I think that's where the biggest transformation for me happened. And that's where like I could do performative free diving as well. But then I started also like working with other people on how to work with their stress. I don't like to say manage stress because there's nothing to manage. The emotions are here like to guide us and to teach us. And usually what happened in my case, the panic attacks, they were just telling me I was not looking into myself. Some part of me was forgotten. I don't know if you're familiar with like parts work, that we have many, many parts inside ourselves. So, for example, if I'm looking into that painful memory, the part of me, this innocent little girl, she has been like, forgotten. She got scared and I left her in the corner. So, no wonder like I had like emotions coming up for me. So, I always like, my biggest like lesson has been not to manage, not to trap emotions and try to like equalize, but let them flow through me and then see where it takes me.
Yeah, that's incredible. And like you said, kind of like not necessarily avoidance, but it's like leaning into what is that emotion trying to teach you or tell you, or can you put kind of like a label on why you're feeling it that way in that
Mm.
moment or what's going on in your life and surroundings. But yeah, addressing it instead of just continuing to avoid it, right?
But I feel like, us like as women, we probably have been heard or told that like, oh, like you shouldn't be angry, you should smile, or like you do, like, and then I think we started label as like how we should look and act in
Mm.
this world instead of be how I am as a woman. Like this force and like, yeah, like explosive force or this flowy force. And like, we are changing so much. We're cyclical. Every day is like fluctuating. But I feel like the world is trying to trap us in somewhat like a box so they could
Yeah.
like quote unquote get us.
Yeah, I was literally there's like a call that I was on this morning and we were talking about that too. It's like the comparison is like the thief of like your joy, right? And then if we all had the same like identity or tried to all conform to be the same, like the world would be so boring. Like we're all meant to be so individually different because that's what makes us like attracted to each other is we all bring something different to relationships or connection with people.
Yeah, and I think especially through connection with other women. I yesterday hosted like a women's circle, and it has been like very different for each member. One like got tears, one got anger, one got insights, and I was like, yeah, that's literally how we're in this energy together. and we can help each other express in a way that like maybe I'm not able to. Like I have found that like my soft part was more like down. I was, was like outgoing, fierce force. But then by having like female friends who are like those like very soft and feminine, which I maybe even like, despised a little. I was like, oh, it's like, what can you do? And you're like always this soft. And
Yeah.
now I started embodying that through other women because they showed me what's possible. And I was like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
capable of that too.
I
So I
love
feel
that.
like that's what you said as well. Like we're
Yeah.
so different and it's so beautiful because we get to complement each other and let each other like flourish.
Yeah, or like you're saying, like be more in like the masculine or feminine, where like if you've
Yeah.
been one way for so long and you're like as a female, you're like, I don't know how to get back into my feminine side, or
Mm,
you've been too feminine and you're like, I need a bit of masculine for my business, right? Like, and to be
yeah.
able to observe other women that are maybe portraying that in a certain way and then use some of what their behaviors are to be like, oh, that's what I need to work on or change. Like, but to have that support of another female that's gone through that to help you get through it is like so powerful.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of time, and it's not only women, but all of us, we feel like, oh, it's just only me who's going through this. And definitely when I look into myself, like, it's like it's recent, like realization. I worked with that, like trauma, whatever you call it, like from 10 years ago. But now I have like such a different view. I'm like, we're all going through things. Like everybody on like, if you look around and how many people you see during the day, we all have our ups and downs and things. So I feel, I don't know if you ever heard of Simon Sinek, but something that I have learned to practice is like, I used to never do that. Like I would shut down and not speak to anyone when I was having bad days.
Yep.
And now I'm like, I learned he was saying like when I'm sad, when I want to cry, I pick up the phone and I call a friend. I was like, that's so beautiful. I have learned that I thought that my sad part or whichever part was not lovable.
Yeah.
And by bringing that to people who love me, I started loving it too. I was like, okay, it's
That's so
just that.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, I've heard of his work. I've watched some of his stuff too. And but knowing that you found those connections and people that you can open up to. Because yeah, I think is like a lot of the story, like some like females growing up, like we're taught to be more quiet or not be vocal. And so then we minimize our stories and minimize
Mhm.
our voice. And then when you finally find your voice again, it's just like, oh, I can speak up and I can share this. And yeah, if you can impact one other female and like they're like, oh, I'm going through that too, so they can relate. Oh, it makes such a difference instead of this whole like women being in for it for themselves or like being scared to talk to other females because there's like the catty whatever relationships, right?
So how has it been for you? Like, have you feel like you had to silence your voice, or how was your journey?
Yeah, for like a long time, like growing up, I did not have very many female friends. Like I just felt like I didn't relate to them and it was just easier to talk to
Mm.
guys. Where I found being around other girls, it's like I just felt like girls were mean or just like held grudges and think of things from the past where you're like, move on, like get over it, go forward, right? And so for the longest time, I did close off and like did not have m many female friends. And then now being an adult, it's like I get to make the choice of the women I get to meet in life or be like, yes, like I like what you're doing. I want to like get to know you more and build that friendship. Or someone that I'm like, oh, I don't like your energy. It's like to be able to have like the confidence and to feel comfortable to be like, I can't be around you. So that's how my voice came back of like, I need to make myself happy first so that I can be good for
Mm.
everybody else instead of like doing things for everyone. And then I was just miserable inside. So for, yeah, that's been like some inner work I've done over the last like 2 years, I'd say, is just learning, yeah, like what things bring me joy and passion and things that I want to do so that I can be good for other people around me.
It's so beautiful to hear, but also it's like how, what the world we live in that we forget what brings us joy, right? Like I
Yeah.
totally get you. And when you said I couldn't relate to women growing up, I was the same. I was like, all of my friends were guys, and then I was like, I don't know, in my 20s or something, I was like, okay, people are telling me about this like magical connection with women. I was like, where is it? I
Right?
probably don't. Yeah, but then I also looked into myself like I probably don't have that connection with my feminine part.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, and I think it's because growing up, I was around guys so much that, yeah, I
yeah.
just learned like the masculine so much and got comfortable in that I was like, what is this feminine side? How do I show these other emotional traits, right? Like, yeah.
But it's also great, you also learn to like really fully understand that part.
Yeah. And then like you said, like the inner work and like spirituality, and it was like learning tools and techniques of like breath work, meditation, um, yeah, like adding those pieces in and seeing like you're saying the experiences you can get from that. And then like was it a year ago? No, last March 2025, I went on a women's retreat. And just, yeah, to be around a different type of women like that, I'm like, okay, like you said, what is that connection? What are you talking about? These women have this thing, and you're like, okay, now I found it. Like now I get it. It makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. Now I'm like in a very different world if I look at now, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
hosting like women communities and I'm like, I'm creating that circle and women come telling me like, oh, it's so good to be in like supportive women circle, not where, as you said, people like women talk about each other and so on. I'm like, yeah, this is the reality. This is where we thrive, We
Yeah.
lift each other up and we go.
And then, so the women's circles that you're doing, like, tell me a bit more about that. Like, is it in person? Are they online? Or what have you kind of created?
So this is a community for the podcast that we have with my friend. So I'm co-hosting the circles online, and we have women connecting from all over the world. So
Wow.
the idea is really to, have the space and the ability, because I know we as women we have so much on the plate.
Yes.
We usually manage the house, the family, the work. There's like so much. So we were like, okay, we're in different parts of the world, but like it's so much easier to join when there's something online. You can join even from a car or something because you just
Yeah.
drop kids in the after school thing. So it is an online community.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. And it's, yeah, to be able to find that group or like tribe of women that you can connect with and relate and have a safe space that you can
Mm.
share your story and not be judged for what you're speaking about.
Yeah, I think it's very, very important having a safe space because, as you said, like I have shaped myself like so much for things that happen in my life. And I was like, I never wanted to be like what came up to me. I was like, I never wanted to be looked as a victim. So I was like, I don't want to share this story. But I realize now it's not about that. It's about opening up. Okay, I have gone through this. It hurt hell. Like, back then I was like, I didn't know where to put myself. But now I'm on another side. I have to overcome all the panic, stress. And like now I have the tools because of that.
Yeah.
So I kind of like grateful how crazy that sounds. It happened. I also believe like I came with like a soul purpose. So I kind of like, when some shits are happening, I'm like, okay, my soul signed up for this. And
Yeah.
if I'm in a shit, I like to say shit is a fertilizer. Like I'm gathering it so I
Yeah.
can fertilize the seeds that will come after. Because I know there are periods where I'm like, shit, it's hard. It's really hard,
Yeah.
really tough. And and like I'm definitely not the person where like, oh no, just smile and go and like everything will be fine. Yeah, okay. I go in, I do inner work, but I don't deny that the situation like is like coming up with things
Yeah.
to me or to others.
Yeah. And that's like you're saying, like when you say like you don't want to feel like you're just like complaining on your social media or showing the victim, but it's like you're showing like something that's happened to you and how you've worked through it and giving tools and ways to try to help other people maybe that are in that old position now, like where you were and where you've come to, right?
Yeah. And I feel what is really important to us women is like to be congruent with what we feel.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, I like nowadays, I can sense the energy. If somebody is smiling, but I can see that they aren't happy or mad, but they just feel that they cannot tell it just because of how the world around them taught them.
Yeah. Or like they
I'm
weren't
like,
taught how to express it.
yeah, yeah, it's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's different ways how we communicate anger or sadness or whichever emotion. So yeah, you're really right.
Yeah. And then I love too that how you were just talking about like your soul or you knew what you were like coming here to do. And I had a friend say to me once, same thing, she's like a spiritual worker down in Mexico as well. And she made the comment of like your body's just the vessel, you chose the soul to be like you picked that you wanted to come into this vessel and this was the life you picked for yourself. And I was like, oh, I never
Mhm.
really like thought about it that way. So I was like, yeah, like your calling or what you're chosen for, whatever you believe in, right? And like what you came here to do and your purpose.
Yeah. You know what's very interesting from that perspective?
Yeah.
I was speaking with also like a spiritual guide recently, and I think it's very related to like business or when we're going for like goals and we're like, yeah, I need to get there. But like we create this like space from where I am and where like I see something. And I was told like, you already like you have done that. Like your soul has already like everything's mapped out. And you're just
Hmm.
here like to play it out. Like it's
Yeah.
done. I was like, what do you mean it's done? And they're like, it's done. It's
Yeah.
done. It happened. You're just here to like play and have fun. I was like, that's a very interesting shift, you know, because instead of like, I need to push. Also, I feel like it's, I don't know how you feel in your business, but I'm also like, okay, so how do I be like in my feminine, attractive
Yeah.
state, but also do things, you know? And I feel like maybe from your story, like I am more of like a doer and I start to like more learn to tap into that like attractive state. So hearing this, I'm like, oh, okay, everything's done. I'm just like playing it out. You know, it shifted my mind. And I was like, huh, interesting.
Yeah. And it's like,
It gets to,
yeah.
it
And
gets to
it's
be
like,
easier.
yeah, like you have like these goals and things you're working towards, and it's like maybe you achieve them and you're like, okay, I reached that. Like now what, right? Or like you have a vision for yourself and you get there, but there could be like a bigger vision, you just can't see it yet. But same thing, like yeah, I get so focused on like being serious or focused on business, and it's like, no, go find your inner child and go play and have fun. Because I'm like, oh, I've really been missing the fun, which is your
Yeah,
creative side, where when you go be creative, it can just like help transform or it goes into your business, like, and that's where you get growth too.
yeah. Like, look at us. We're having this conversation and we're having so much fun, right? And it's our
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. And I'd love to, like, we've literally talked in our business group, like, messages. Like, we've never even talked on a video call together. And it's just, you
Yeah,
can,
right?
yeah, feel and match energies, right?
Yeah.
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 And then, so go ahead.
I feel like we just, all of us, we need connection no matter what we do. And I feel like play comes to connection with ourselves. And then we can express that with others, like, oof, magic
Yeah.
happens.
And now, like something for me in the last little while, like I was saying, like picking and finding friends is I was on a call with like one of our business coaches and I was saying I need to like find more fun or go do things. And she was like, start this thing called Date Yourself. So I started going out once a week and
Yeah,
trying something new on my own. But now I've turned it into this like date yourself monthly girls get together. And so now we've like started same thing, building this group of girls where we go find a fun activity that like we're all probably going to suck at, but like just to go laugh and play and have fun. And it's been like one of the best things. Now these girls are like, when's the next one? What are we gonna do? Like, so yeah, like you're talking about just connection in different ways, and it's okay to not be good at things right away. Like you should suck at stuff because it's new, but we just put these like pressures on ourselves that we're like, I want to be good at that right away, or like that person's gonna be better, and then like you're just like nervous and scared, and you don't want to go try new things. When as soon as you go do it, like you just have fun.
yeah. Like, what's wrong with sucking? My sister just today, you know, I started learning bachata here, and I'm like, this is so fun. I'm doing like, I don't know, 1,000 mistakes like in one class. I was like, this is cool. Like, it feels good in my body, you know, it's fun. And my
Yeah.
sister, she's like, also went to like a dance class, and she was like, oh, I don't feel that like I was any good, but this was fun. And I'm like, why do we need to place that judgment? Oh, you know, like I was not really good, but it was fun.
Yeah, and everybody's like doing their own, they're in their own world, caring about themselves. Like they're not actually watching you. They're
Yeah,
like doing their own
yeah.
thing. Yeah. Uh,
I feel like we are magnetic when we're just enjoying life and we have fun.
yeah, and just learning, like, because I was really bad for it too, with like not being in the present moment and just
Mm,
finding activities that, yeah, like you're saying, like art, dance, music, cooking, like all those like passions or hobbies, like that's the stuff that puts you in the present moment. And I find like when I'm doing things with business, I could be sitting doing like creating something and I can be so focused for hours and not realize time's gone by because it's creative and I'm like just in the present moment, right? And it's finding those pieces again instead of like you were talking about before, like the hustle where you're just not even remembering something that your kid said to you a few minutes ago because you're distracted on your phone or running around trying to cook food or whatever it is, instead of like, this is the task I'm focusing on right now. I'm going to be fully present in it before I go do something else.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Being present is one of the, it's funny because it's just the only thing that we have, like this very moment. And sometimes it's so hard to tap into it.
Hmm.
Like it takes sometimes some effort to be here and now.
Yeah. And I think it is like social media's caused that, right? Where we get all those like quick dopamine hits or like people that play video games all the time and it's like having to literally relearn and retrain your brain. Like, yeah, like what does presence mean? And time is something like, yeah, you can, money comes and goes, but like time is something you don't get back. So it's like, what are you going to do with your time while you're here?
Yeah, and one of the things that I've learned about my brain first was that it's always circling in like addictive loops. So
Mm.
whatever like false patterns I'm addicted to, it will loop me into that and it will find me for that. So
Hmm.
as you said, like for me, it was like adrenaline addiction, right? So I used to do like rock climbing and it was like very, very extreme sports. And I was like, okay, I need another rush. I need another rush. But then I was like, okay, I saw this the same as like when people are eating sugar or something, or like, yeah, as you said, scrolling social media, we are just looking for recognition on the same pattern that we have inside to meet that externally.
Hmm.
And once I was like, okay, I'm an addict. Everyone is an addict.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, let's look into this. Let's unpack this. Let's see where the loops are leading me, and if that's where I want to go.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like, and that's the thing too, is like money, they say like money goes into the addictions and things that make you feel good, right? Like it's like, yeah, like sex, money, drugs, alcohol, like all those things are multi-million dollar companies because like people want to have that pleasure. But you're saying like, yeah, like what loops are the good loops? And then like what are the patterns or loops that you need to break and change, but can still provide you that like feel like good feeling too.
I feel like, like the addiction is like if I'm getting something, but I'm never feeling like it's enough.
Yeah.
Because like the money can be good, the sexual connection can be good, right?
Yeah.
But am I going there from the fear of like, oh, I need more money, so I feel better. I have a better status. Or I'm like, ooh, I get my money, so I get to like host more of these communities. Like, I had to share, like I feel for me, it relates to that. Am I connecting with another person when I'm having sexual interaction?
Yep.
Or is just, as you said, that rush that. So, yeah, we all have that. And I think it's very, what we started talking about, it's very much about everyone opening up, that we're just humans.
Hmm.
And I have been there, I have done that, but I'm a masterpiece and I'm work in progress. And it's
Yeah.
always gonna be that way. No matter how many steps I do and I'm becoming quote unquote better human, there's always gonna be a human part of me.
Yeah. And we're, yeah, we make mistakes and it's like we're here for like just this human experience, like whatever that experience looks like, right? For each
Hmm.
person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love all the stuff you shared. Like you're just so knowledgeable and just hearing your perspectives on things. I just love it. Is there anything else that you could think of like what you want to share, like for your business, for people like if they want to work with you, or like what type of work are you doing right now, or how can people like get in contact with you if they want to work with you?
Of course. So work with women in leadership, helping them overcome that quiet overwhelm or even burnout, and really tap into that calm leadership so they can lead from the calm state and high stakes environment. People can find me by Ace Ocean on social media or my website. And yeah, something that I want to say is even if it feels very scary wherever you are, I would just say tap into that feeling and, like, as you said, be with it in the present moment because I know it's hard. Like, when I'm in the very hard state, I'm like, oh, I would rather go to the gym. I would rather do this and do this. And I'm like, no, I need to sit with this because I'm trying to escape it because it's not comfortable. It makes me feel edgy. But when I do that, that part of me expands, feels loved.
Yeah.
and it's not shouting inside of me for connection.
I love that. And then just yeah, like you're saying, like leaning into it. And when you say like sit with it, like if someone doesn't really know what that means, like what does that mean, like sitting with it to you?
That's an amazing question. So basically, what I would advise to do is like to really tap into that part. Have you ever seen a movie Inside Out?
Yes.
So you know how there are like these little characters?
Yeah.
So I like to say people, imagine if you're sad and you don't want to be there. I would go into be like, okay, Tracy, what is that part? Like how would you even name her? What is her character?
Hmm.
And it could be like, okay, she's like give her like, a little name.
Yeah.
And I would say like, okay, can you like just ask her, like, can you hold her? Can you see her? Ask her how she feels. And those usually parts, they are like very edgy. They might not want to speak with you. Like I had one that I called an ice queen.
Mm.
And I was like, I didn't even know how to like get to her, but I promised her that I will revisit her. I was like, okay, I will get back to you today at 5 p.m. and I will check in how you're doing.
Hmm.
It sounds funny, but it's so profound because those are the parts that we have neglected. So once they like it's if you have kids,
Yeah.
when they're like angry, mad, or sad, you come and give a hug and they start melting.
Hmm.
It's very similar the parts inside of us. They
Okay.
just want to be hugged, they want to be seen, they want to be there inside of us, like integrated
Yeah.
when we are like pushing them aside.
Oh, I love that. That's a good way for like to describe it. Because yeah, some people are probably like, what does she mean sit with it? So no, I like that analogy that you use. That's super helpful.
Yeah, thanks for asking.
Yeah, for
Sometimes,
sure.
it feels like it's so clear.
Yeah, and I think that's just it is like yeah, like not necessarily labeling, but yeah, labeling all these things that you're sitting with or trying to like say like what is that emotion or what is that past identity and then being able to like you said like either try to tap into it or come back to it and knowing it's okay if you need to come back and revisit as many times as you need to.
Yeah, and I feel it's like it's good to give it like a funny name,
Yeah.
where like I have a part that I love Japanese ice cream mochi.
Oh
So
yeah, my daughter loves that.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. So I call my ego now Mochi, and I'm like, okay, Mochi, you're really now like puffy and unhappy and going on. And it just makes me like laugh when I talk to that part in that way, and that part is like, and I'm like, I just want to kiss and love her.
Yeah.
Instead of be like, why are you acting this way?
Yeah.
Like my relationship with that part changes.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, I love it. Um, yeah, I don't think I had anything else that I was going to ask. That's fantastic. Thank you for everything you've shared. I'm sure more than one person is going to relate to this. And I'll put in the bottom of the description for the podcast, I'll put your Instagram and your website and all that kind of thing. And then that way, if people want to connect with you, they have a way to reach out.
It sounds amazing. Thank you so much for having me. I
Awesome.
really, really enjoyed this conversation.
So good. Thank you. I'll have you on again, maybe if you want to down the road.
It
Awesome.
would be my pleasure.
Thank you.